I'm in a grocery store line. I run into this old guy that's up talking to the cashier and talking smack about the current president. Not the one that's current as I'm recording this, but it was at the time. So, no political agenda here. It doesn't matter who it was. But, the guy's up, oh, he's way out of line saying this and that about the president. And then goes on to say, hey, hey, hey. And I fought for the right to say that. Oh, yeah, did you? What war did you participate in that generated that right? Isn't the First Amendment, largely, some would argue, primarily about, the citizens' option to criticize the government, right? Some say that's the main reason that's in there, not so you can go down the street screaming the F word or, play pornography on your, little outdoor movie screen in front of your house. A lot of people say it's primarily to preserve the right to criticize the government, which was, not the case in monarchies back in the Middle Ages, the kind of thing they were fighting against during the American Revolution. So, judging by this guy's age, I'm guessing it was Vietnam. Hey, maybe it was Korea, and he just looks great for a real old guy. So, I'll tell you that enough ink has been spilled on the carcasses of enough majestic forests, to explain the origin of either of those wars. Perhaps I don't need to go into it. Pick your own 400 or 500 page book to read. But let me tell you this brief synopsis. Here's what the Korean War was not about. Grandpa Kim, gets in front of a microphone one day and says, hey, the United States and your Constitution and all the rights you got, especially that Bill of Rights thing and especially the First Amendment, I'm going to come over and take that away. I'm going to come over and snuff that right out, and the United States goes, oh, yeah, okay, no, you won't, bang, bang. Let me tell you, that isn't what happened, Ditto in Vietnam. Well, hey, first of all, the Korea thing, they didn't even win that war. What they call it a draw? They didn't defeat Kim's army, or, China's, was it really? I don't know. But ditto in Vietnam, right? I'll tell you what didn't happen. Ho Chi Minh, not his real name, but what he was going by that time, gets elected, gets up and says, hey, United States of America, I'm going to take away your rights or whatever, that First Amendment's way out of line. I'm coming over gunning for you. That ain't what he said. And the United States wasn't responding to that by going, oh yeah, bang, bang, right? That's never what that war was about, right? And incidentally, the old guy I'm seeing in the grocery store line lost that war. Yeah, maybe it wasn't really him specifically. Maybe I should blame generals or presidents or something. I don't know, But the point is, if he had won it, let's say the outcome had been different. Let's say the United States had won the Vietnam War and had taken over all of Vietnam and installed our puppet government in charge. Maybe we wouldn't be over there running it still. Maybe they'd be pretty much self-supporting, like any great democracy throughout the world. But if that had happened, I wouldn't have my rights. So the outcome of the Vietnam War, a loss from the United States, is what generated my right to speak freely on, for example, on this program. Yeah, really? Is that what this guy has the audacity to claim? Losing a couple wars that took place, 5,000 miles from here isn't really what gives us those rights. Hey, if you fought in the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, yeah, congratulations. And if that's what that guy did, I'd say, hey, you look great for your age. For 250 years old, you're not doing, hey, if I looked that way at 150, I'd be happy about it. So, hey, thanks for your service, I'm grateful for all the freedoms we have here. Right? Although, to be perfectly honest, the UK has a similar slate of freedoms, and so does their other colonial land, that's now independent, like Australia and Canada. So, I'm not even positive that if you'd lost the Revolutionary War, Vietnam War, or, Vietnam I already covered, but Revolutionary War or War of 1812, that the outcome would have been any different as far as what I'm allowed to do today. But nevertheless, that's what they were actually fighting for back then. So I'm commended. So let me just clarify a few things. What I'm not saying is that these wars are useless. Many people have said that, and hey, whatever. I'm not the biggest expert here, or that guy shouldn't have gone. Perhaps he was drafted. Am I saying he should have dodged the draft? No, I'm not necessarily saying that. But what I'm saying, he's got a lot of gall to come over here and claim that his, his right to talk smack about whatever president, probably the one now, probably the last five, maybe there's some he's happy with, I don't know, but that right was generated by him going over there. No, it wasn't. You did nothing to help further my rights. Any of those wars that I was alive for, I already had those rights before you even went. So how was you losing a war, what gave us such great freedoms here, So, hey, I'm not saying war in general is bad. I mean, I lean that direction, but I don't know, maybe there's a reason to go once in a while, right? I mean, maybe you could argue that certain wars are great and the United States needed to be involved. But, if you have the audacity to claim, that my constitutional rights were generated by your participation in it, again, unless this war was, a couple hundred years ago, then I think you're way out of line. So keep this in mind. If I were you guys, I wouldn't tolerate anyone making those claims either. This is the way of life.